Hello, hi everyone. Once again, welcome back to the new video. And as I shared in the earlier video regarding the first screening round of DevSecOps interview with the SONY company, and my profile got shortlisted. And as I also shared the journey of shortlisting process as well, and I got interview scheduled for second round also, like after completing the first round of discussion. After 2 days this discussion was scheduled, and it is also a virtual, and they have mostly focused on security as the role itself a DevSecOps, and I am going to discuss the questions asked in that particular discussion, and this might be helpful for many people who are preparing for interview and help me also. And without further ado, let's enter into the video and have a discussion about the questions. After the initial introduction, they asked about, let's say, if you are designing a CI/CD pipeline, how do you make sure to design a secure CI/CD pipeline? For that, we can use a DevSecOps categories of tools. From each category we can specify one tool, and I explained my project structure itself as working as a DevSecOps engineer, where we are going to integrate a SAST tool. We are going to use Fortify as a SAST tool, and Dashed also Fortify supports that. We are going to use that, and for SCA, software composition analysis, we use SNCC as a tool, and that can be integrated into a pipeline, as well as IDE also it will be integrated. And for storing credentials under, we use environmental variables and secret manager, and there is a role based access control implemented in the pipeline, and for a microservices based application, yeah, I have explained the same thing in my project only. And how do you implement a zero trust security in DevOps? Especially let's say if you wanted to verify every access request, we can use IAM, where the IAM user with least privileges or necessary privileges, that will make sure to maintain to implement a zero trust security. And there are other policies also, like we can encrypt their data wherever it is needed, and we can monitor for maintaining a zero trust security. And the further follow-up question was, how do you handle security vulnerabilities found in open source dependency? This is like some kind of a general question, as well as mostly they will point out this particular point and ask the question in a different way. Okay, and in this particular case, to handle security vulnerabilities, especially in open source dependencies, we can use vulnerability identification tool, and there is a category also SBOM, where it will list down the software bill of materials that supports by various build tool also, Maven also it supports, and we can use Snake or Trivi, and a Sonar IQ server. Okay, Sonar IQ server, and it will be, the answer might differ from person to person, and the why, because the tools and the category will be the same, the tools might be different, and you may not heard the tools what I am speaking, and you may know the some other tools you may are using in that particular category. Okay, it depends on that. And make sure you are able to understand the results, like CVE format, CVSS, where that will dives you into a good understanding of results, where if someone asks in interview, you are able to explain. Okay, and this question is really regarding GitHub Actions. What are the some best practices for securing a GitHub action workflows? We can make sure to maintain a limited access where that will use a least privilege access for tokens, and we can also prevent a code injections. It will directly like what we can say, avoid the conflicts, and we can also encrypt the secret. There is a secret encryption tools also there, and there is a secret management in GitHub itself where we can use that particular thing to maintain this security best practices. And the further question was what is SBOM and how does it improve security? As I said, the SBOM category tools are Trevi, Maven, Snake, dependency check. Variety of tools supports SBOM category. And what exactly the SBOM was? It is a software bill of materials. It will detail the what are the software components in that particular application. If there is any open source library using by that particular application in that code, it will check whether the particular open source component is available, existing, and is it safe to use. That will be listed down by the SBOM. And majorly it will also identifies the vulnerabilities within the code itself, code based source code. Okay, and if there is any supply chain attacks will be there that can be prevented by using this SBOM security best practice. And how do you secure a container image in a production environment? For scanning a container image, I have a dedicated tool. I think the only one and only tool. I am not sure, but I see a twist lock. There is a one tool called twist lock where it will maintain a security throughout after running the container also. For Docker image, the scanning process and supporting tools was different, and Docker container in the sense after the image running. Okay, after running the image it will call a container. And for image scanning there are a wide variety of tools which supports like Snake, Trevi, and many other tools. For container scanning, I think this category don't support. There is a I said no twist lock and check marks, some paid tools, commercial tools, sorry, enterprise tools supports this. And to make make sure the image is secure in the production environment, we can also maintain a what we can say, role based access controls in that. And we can use image scanning before starting a container only. We can use the Trevi also. And we can also limit the capabilities of the container. Let's say if you are using Kubernetes, we can use Kubernetes security context where it will maintain a limit capabilities of that. And how do you implement a role-based access controls in Kubernetes? As I'm talking about that, RBAC, it is basically a role-based access control. We can implement by using roles and cluster roles that will define say permissions for the specified resources. And generally the role buildings and cluster role buildings will assign your roles to the specific users and groups and security some services accounts like that. And we can maintain a least privilege principle. That is the like best principle we can follow. Like whatever the necessary permissions is required, we can grant only that permissions. We can directly specify in the YAML file itself. And how can you make sure API keys, and how would you secure API keys and credentials in Kubernetes cluster? We can use HashiCorp Vault, and we can use Secret Manager. AWS also provides that. And we can also use environmental variables regarding that. And how do you ensure your compliance with the security standards like NIST and GDPR? There are some security standards where it will follow some standards of international standards, international benchmarking standards, where it will be like different standards like automating the security, detecting some what we can say insecure code base, and finding the malfunctions or some authentication issues and SQL injections, data encryption, and it will make sure to follow those standards. Like by maintaining this, it will be, I mean, we fall under that particular international standards. How do you, oh, sorry, what is the difference between CIS benchmarks and NIST framework? Generally, the those are like benchmarkings, also the international benchmarks, we can say. I'm not exactly in depth. I mean, in depth, I haven't know the details of that, and I haven't used it in the real time also. But I know just for on high level understanding, NIST follows a step by step like benchmarking strategy, and CIS it is like sorry, NIST is like managed policies, and CIS is like step by step. And I'm also need to make sure to look on this, and if you know anybody regarding this, please let me know in the comments. uh, the further question was, what is DevSecOps and how does it differs from traditional DevOps? Mostly in as it was a evolving field, we can say DevSecOps. So we can expect these kind of comparison questions, and what exactly makes the difference, and what best practices it will bring to the real-time production environment, and what it achieves as a special thing compared to the DevOps traditional model like that. Generally, we can what we can say, in DevOps we can focus on speed, and it will automate. That is the major phase security. I mean, major what we can say, um, major like focus. But in DevSecOps, it's like speed and automation along with the security speed. Security will be speeding up, and the earlier DevOps traditional model also achieves, and the security also as achieves, where we are going to integrate a security, and that is not going to delays the speed of the deployment process, but as a additional layer it will create a additional security, and it will also aligns in the speed at traditional model. Okay. And as I said, like there are different variety of tool categories in security: SAST, DAST, SE, IAC scanning, and container scanning, secret scanning, like that. I explained about the clear context of that. And what is CVSS and how do you use it for vulnerability assessment? Generally, CVSS is a common vulnerability scoring system, where it is a based on the vulnerability detection. It will there is a preset of roles defined in that, and it will display the score of the severity of vulnerability from, let's say, 0 to 10. It will define the particular score based on the vulnerability identified in the source code, something like that. And in that also there is different kind of scores, like a base score and environmental score. uh, it depends on the use case. Let's say if it is base score, that particular severity of the vulnerability is considered as base score. If it is environmental score, then it will be impact the specific environment. There is a temporal score also, where it is available especially for patches. Okay. And based on the score, like let's say if it is 9 and above, then it will be critical. If it is 4 to 5, then it will be medium, like that. Based on the scale of scoring, it will be like that. And how do you protect a Kubernetes cluster from DDoS attack? Generally, the DDoS attacks are like done by some malicious attackers or something. Or let's say if the particular site was up and running with no issues, if we wanted to, some attacker need to make sure the site need to go down, and it should be go offline, which is in online now. That is the main like purpose of the DDoS attack, where it will sends a huge requests and the system server crashes. And also we can for coming to the for protection part, we can enable like auto scaling purpose, where we can enable a horizontal auto scaling. It will increases the what we can say numbers instead of increasing the vertical in the sense it is increasing the directly RAM. Okay, for a same instance, the storage and RAM will be increased. That is the vertical auto scaling. If it is horizontal scaling, for same instance, the instance another instance will be added with the same specifications, like that based on the traffic it was getting. We can use that. And we can also maintain a set up a or use the firewalls to make sure what we can say protect the Kubernetes cluster from DDoS attacks, like that. And how do you ensure your security when using GitHub Actions for deployment? Uh, in As a DevSecOps engineer, there is a GitHub secure checklist, like Jenkins checklist. We make sure to follow that one. In that, I have remembered some pointers. So we make sure what we can say we can initiate not initiation. We can use authentication, where it will prevent CM and suspicious authentication issues. And we can make sure to restrict the workflows based on the permissions. Like the best practice, as I say earlier, it is a least privilege was the always best practice. And we can also use the uh, a dependency validator, where it will validates the dependency. And there is a specified bot also, but I, to be frank, I haven't used this, but I get to know, like I read somewhere, and based on that I'm saying this particular thing. And the further question was, how do you manage your security for multi-cloud DevSecOps environment? Generally, if you come, if we talk about the security, the first thing was IAM user will make to sure to provide a necessary privileges or list privileges, and maintain a RBAC, role-based access controls. And we make sure uh, to implement a what we can security automation compliance security compliance automation. There are tools like Prisma Cloud, which maintains a security automation in the cloud environment. And also I think CSPM also comes under the same thing, cloud security posture management. There are tools called custodian, cloud custodian. It is the one of the wide open source tool, and I have worked on that, so I'm telling about that. And I have given the same example also. And if we talk about the container, we can use the container security. We can define the security policies within the what we can say a container YAML file itself while writing the YAML file. And also one more thing, we can store the secrets by using secret manager or hashtag of vault, if it is what we can say Terraform or Kubernetes. And in any case, we can use the AWS if you are using AWS cloud provider, AWS secret manager. And we can also use the enrollment variable. That is also one of the best policy, best practice. And yeah, I think these are the some pretty good questions. And I think answers also many things I have covered. And the main motto of this was to just wanted to share my experience and the questions. Based on that, you will be going to prepare further, like that. And as per my discussion and my opinion on this particular interview, the interview went well. There is a positive note also. And let's see, let's hope for the best, and let's see what is going to be happen. As I said in the earlier video only, they set a expectation of physical interview, and they took a confirmation from me only, like you make sure to attend a physical interview like that. And yeah, I think I'm expecting a physical discussion as a third managerial round. Let's see. I think that probably maybe the last one, and yeah, let's hope for the best always. And I will definitely share some experiences whatever I have in upcoming video. And one more thing I wanted to share with you was I haven't properly answered all this as I discussed in this particular video while writing down the questions after completing the interview. And later also I got strike this some pointers, some answers earlier I was don't know. And yeah, let's see if I have any further updates. I will definitely share with you. And if you are preparing for interviews or else failing in interviews, don't worry. If you are not even starting for interviews or else planning to give, just be ready for failure. Then definitely you are able to sit in interview and face the challenges, failures, and you can see success. Okay, and that is the my input for you guys. And if you have any further some suggestions or something, to be frank, I am also not an expert in like achieving the things or getting clearing the interviews and getting more number of calls or getting interview short. I mean, scheduling the interview. All those things are salary negotiation part, notice period maintaining. All those things. I am also not very good at it, but I'm collecting some good pointers from people and from LinkedIn, from YouTube. Okay, so that pointers sharing along with my experiences. Okay, that's where stands me alone, and something unique where I'm going to learn something from it, and you are also going to learn something from it. And yeah, that's it as of now. Stay tuned and meet you in next video. Bye.